Have you ever hosted or attended a webinar that was just not it? You might think, well, webinars just don't work. But of course, that's not true. So let's explore some common reasons why webinars don't work as expected and how we can turn things around. Reason 1. Lack of engagement. One common issue is lack of engagement. Sometimes webinars feel more like one-way lectures. You know, the ones where it's just talking heads and not the band. However, there is a solution for lack of engagement. Interactions. Make your webinar more engaging by adding quiz questions, polls and discussions. Tools like chat features and Q&A sessions can make your audience feel more involved, turning a potentially dull webinar into a dynamic and interactive experience. Yes, Demo Walter here with a very short appearance in this video, and that is because, of course, we are talking about webinars, we are talking about engagement, so why not show some of the interactive features that you can find in WebinarGeek. As you can see on my screen right now, I've already created a webinar aptly titled Most Interactive Webinar Ever, so I wanted to show you how you can set up interactions in your webinar. So right now I'm going to click on Edit Webinar. Here you'll find a lot of options, but this is of course only about interactions. If you want to learn more about how to set up your webinar or anything like that, I highly recommend that you watch our demo webinar hosted by my awesome colleagues Brian and Stefan. But for now I will be talking about the interactions. So let's go to interactions. Of course, right here it says you have not created any interactions yet. All you have to do is find the big orange button that says Create Interaction. And here you have a bunch of options for the different interactions. You have a call to action, you have a poll, and you have a quiz, and also the information box. So let's add a poll to this awesome webinar. Right here you can either copy an existing poll from a previous webinar or create a new poll template. And for this one, I'm going to select New Poll Template. And right here we already have a very good and great question. Have you ever watched a webinar before? Of course, this is just for the demo, and this is of course an example question. If you want to change the question, you can just click and then type something if you want, but for this one I'm just going to leave it as is. Name for internal use, well, I'm going to call this Watched a Webinar Before. I do want to show the overall results to the viewers because I think it's very funny. If you turn this off, the viewers will only see a message that says thanks for sharing your opinion, or thank you for your answer in this case. You have the option to have a single choice or multiple choice. Well, that speaks of course for itself. You can only select one or multiple. And the default duration, right now it's set to 1.5 minutes, but if you see during your live webinar that, oh, not a lot of people are answering the poll anymore and it still goes on for a minute, you can just click on stop. I will show that when we open up the dry run. But for now, I'm just going to leave this as is. And of course, you can change everything. You can add even more questions or options if you want to. But for now, I'm just going to click on create. And there we have, with our name, Watched a Webinar Before. This is of course a name for the internal use. So with our first interaction, a poll added to the webinar, it is time to add another one. And for this one, I'm going to add a quiz. So once again, go to that orange button, search for quiz. And just as with the poll, right here, you can select if you want to copy one from a previous webinar or create a new quiz entirely. And I'm going to select New Quiz Template for this one as well. And right here you already see a very good question. What is a webinar, of course? If you don't know what a webinar is, we actually have a YouTube video on that topic as well. As you can see, it's a little bit different than with the poll, mostly the result settings, because you can show the overall result to the viewers and show if the viewer answered correctly. You might want to turn the show if viewer answered correctly off in case you have an assessment added. Just as with the poll, of course, you can change your question. For this one, you need to select which one is correct, of course, for your statistics. And if you do show it to the viewers, if they answered correctly, they immediately know, but the program must know, of course, which is the correct answer. You can easily add one by clicking on Add Option. You can delete one by clicking on the bin, and you can even change the order. Right here as well, of course, since it's a quiz, you can have multiple answers or just a single choice, so multiple choice or a single choice, and you have a default duration as well. If I click on a button that says show if viewer answered correctly off, you will see, just as with the poll, thank you for your answer. But I think I would like to see if my viewers answered correctly right away. Default duration, just as with the poll, it's right now 1.5 minutes, but you can easily stop it if all the people answered your quiz question. So I'm going to change the name for internal use to what is a webinar, and then click on create. And there we have a poll and a quiz question. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open up a dry run to show you how you can start and stop the interaction and how it looks like from the presenter side. And there we are in our webinar. So I'm going to start the dry run. There we go, I'm now live, which is great. And then all you have to do is just go to the interaction tab, and right here we have our poll, watch the webinar before, which is ready, and we have a quiz ready as well. So click on the button as well. You can either end manually or end after a set time. This is very great as well because this is the default duration, 1.5 minutes, just in case, but you can end it manually anyways. So let's say that I'm going to start my poll. And of course this is a demo and I haven't had viewers, but if you have viewers, you will see real time how many people will answer yes, I have, or no, they haven't watched the webinar before. And like I told you, well, all the people have answered, and I'm going to end the interaction right here. And then another drop-down menu called Past Interactions opens, where you can see which interactions you already opened or started and which one not. So as you can see right here, that was of course the poll question, and now I'm going to start the quiz question as well. And then right here I can see in real time how many viewers answered the question correctly and how many people didn't. So I'm going to end the interaction as well and end the dry run. So with our dry run finished, I want to go back to the interactions because I wanted to talk about another great feature, which is the assessment. Let's say you are hosting an online training and of course you want to give people a certificate, or you want to see how the people did and how much they paid attention during your webinar and how many quiz questions they answered correctly. For that, you can set up an assessment. Once again, go to the interactions tab, just where we were last time when we added our poll and our quiz. And instead of interactions, go to the assessment. Click on the toggle Use Assessment Tools for this webinar. And here we can set our new criteria, of course, since it is an assessment, which is kind of a test to see if people really paid attention, like I mentioned. So I'm going to add new criteria. As you can see on my screen, we have a bunch of them. We have viewing time, polls, evaluation form, and quizzes. The viewing time is how many or how long the people have actually watched your webinar. The polls, which is just a minimum amount of poll questions they have answered. The evaluation form, which I didn't toggle because this is just a demo webinar, but you can also select as a criteria that they need to fill in the evaluation form. And the quizzes, which is the one that I'm going to add. Set a minimum number of correctly answered quiz questions. So let's click on the quizzes. Well, how many do they need to have correct? I only had one in this webinar, but let's say I say 5. And then I'm going to click on add. And right here you see that there is a criteria for the quizzes. Let's do another one. Let's set amount of viewing time. And I think they need to have watched 50% of my webinar to get the assessment correctly. Like I mentioned, this is especially great if you are hosting online trainings or workshops, or even some for schools or education. So the assessment tool is a great feature to really see how well your viewers participated during your webinar. And of course, a lot of people participated because you thought of engagement. Reason 2, boring presentation styles. Another challenge is a boring presentation style, but we've got an easy fix for that. Spice it up. Spice it up, but don't be salty. Use visuals, share stories, and keep things lively to capture your audience's attention. Technology offers a lot of presentation tools that are easy to use. A little creativity can go a long way in making your content more engaging. And reason 3, poor timing. The timing of your webinars can also be an issue. Scheduling webinars at the wrong time might lead to low attendance. The good news? Research your audience's time preferences and plan accordingly. And that's why webinars might not work and how to fix it. Remember, it's all about engagement, lively presentations, and convenient timing. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about webinars, on how to host them, what gear to use, and what it's like to work at a tech startup, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click like on this video and hit that notification bell. And let me know, how do you engage your audience? Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!